Now, after that, we have looked into the best practices when defining the scope. We have looked into the key tools, techniques when defining the scope. Now, let's move into the next topic, which is a very important topic when creating the WBS or the work breakdown structure. The key inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs, including the project management plan, the project documents, the EFs, OPAs, and the tools and techniques that we are going to have and look for, which is the decomposition. Also, the expert judgment, where we have covered earlier. And the outputs here includes the scope baseline and the project document update. So we'll have look on the scope baseline and the decomposition as we haven't covered before. But first, let's understand what exactly is the, let's say, the work breakdown structure or WBS. You can consider it as it's the hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work into a smaller and manageable components. It is a vital tool for defining, organizing, and controlling the scope of the project. This session will explore the steps to create the WBS with its significance on project planning and also with its output, including the WBS dictionary and the, let's say, finalized scope baseline. Again, just to recap on what we have said on what exactly is the WBS, since it's a very important topic here. So we say the WBS is the hierarchical structure that organizes the total scope of project into a smaller manageable parts, and each level of the WBS provides a greater detail, enabling teams to focus on, let's say, specific tasks or deliverables. By organizing work this way, the WBS acts as the foundation for planning, executing, monitoring the project activities while ensuring that nothing important is overlooked. What is the importance of WBS in project management? The WBS is essential for ensuring that the entire project scope is captured and organized systematically. By breaking down the project into smaller components, it enables let's say, a clearer task allocation and accountability among the team members. So you break down each of the, let's say, deliverables or the scope that you have defined to a manageable tasks, and each of these tasks need to be assigned to a certain person, and you might need to allocate, for example, the resource name or the date of allocation, budget for that task, and the expected timeline to complete that task. So by breaking down the project into smaller components, it enables, as we said, a clearer task allocation and accountability among team members. Additionally, the WBS serves as the foundation for accurate cost and time estimations. When you aggregate all of these tasks in the WBS, you come up with a cost baseline and the, let's say, schedule baseline, making it critical tool for project plan. Let's now have a look on the steps to develop a WBS. So developing a WBS involves several key steps, including by or starting by gathering the inputs such as scope statement and requirements documentation, where you have, let's say, find the scope and you've set the deliverables. So you need now to break these deliverables, which is the next step. So here we say that identifying the major deliverables or components of the project that the project intended to achieve or to deliver. Finally, after you have defined these major deliverables, you need to decompose or break down the composition or breaking down these deliverables into a smaller work packages that represent manageable tasks for the project execution. Since this is a very important topic, we are gonna go through each of these, key steps just to make it more clear to you. First step again is we have to start with the gathering the inputs. So gathering the inputs is the first step in developing the WBS. The key documents includes that you may refer to or you have to look for, including the project charter or scope statements and requirements document. These inputs provide the necessary context and boundaries, ensuring that the WBS aligns with the overall project objectives and scope. Next key step here, which is very important again when identifying the major deliverables. So after gathering the inputs and overlooking to these, let's say, documents or scope statements, we say that the next step is to identify the major deliverables of the project. And these deliverables forms the top level components of the WBS to ensure accuracy. Use the project objectives and requirements as a guide when identifying these high level elements. Third key step here, which is decomposing these deliverables. So, decomposing deliverables into smaller work packages is a very critical step. Each work package should be manageable, measurable, and specific enough to assign it to or to be assigned to a team or individual. Follow the 100 rule, which ensures that all project work is captured within the WBS without overlapping or omitting or removing any tasks. Also, a key deliverable here that you might need to expect having, we call it the WBS dictionary. What exactly is WBS dictionary? So, the WBS dictionary is a companion document that provides a detailed description of each work package in the WBS. It includes unique identifiers such as numbers, letters, or any unique identifier with its responsible parties and criteria for completion. And that will ensure the clarity and reducing the ambiguity in the task assignment. Also, as one of these key, let's say, outputs when creating the WBS, which is having the scope baseline. Again, what exactly the scope baseline is? We say that the scope baseline has to be including the WBS or the work breakdown structure, also the WBS dictionary and the scope statement. So this is the scope baseline. It acts as a reference for the scope management and it requires the stakeholder approvals. So finalizing the scope baseline involves integrating the WBS and the WBS dictionary and the scope statement together. These components serves as a reference point for managing the scope throughout the project. Before proceeding, ensures that the scope baseline is reviewed and approved by all of the relevant stakeholders. Again, let's have a look on the key outputs that we say that we need to have as um, uh, outputs for the WBS process or creating the WBS. So we say that the outputs of the WBS process include the work breakdown structure itself and the WBS dictionary that provides additional details about each work package and the finalized scope baseline. And these outputs are critical for guiding the project execution and ensuring alignment with the project objectives. To understand benefits of having a WBS. So, using a WBS improves the project clarity and focus by breaking down complex tasks to manageable components, which we call the decomposition. It also enhances the resource allocation and, let's say, a cost estimation and schedule estimation, or the time estimation to complete the overall project. So the more you break down these tasks into let's say, tasks or work packages, the more you will have more clarity when assigning budgets or aggregating the cost of each work package to estimate the project budget. It also enhances the progress tracking, also reducing the risks of scope creep and miscommunication among team members. Let's make let's take this from a real world perspective when having a construction example on how to create a WBS for that. Think of as let's say that in a residential construction project, the WBS might include the top level deliverables such as the foundation, framing, and finishing. Each of these deliverables further can be decomposed into a detailed work packages, such as pouring the foundation or installing the windows. What are the common pitfalls or mistakes that you need to say avoid when creating the WBS? So common mistakes in WBS development includes creating work packages that are either too broad or too narrow. Also overlooking dependencies and relationships among the task, or ignoring these dependencies and the relationship among the tasks, and failing to involve stakeholder on the process. Avoiding these pitfalls ensures a more accurate and effective WBS creation. What are the best practices that you need to follow when creating the WBS? To ensure the effectiveness of your WBS, engage the stakeholders and the team members during its development. Use a standardized templates for consistency, and regularly also review and update WBS to reflect any changes in the project scope. To summarize our session here about this important topic, which is creating the WBS. So we said in this session we covered the steps to create the WBS, including gathering inputs, identifying major deliverables, composing them into manageable work packages and tasks. Also discuss the importance of having a WBS in scope management with its outputs such as WBS and the WBS dictionary, establishing the base scope baseline. Mastering these concepts is essential for effective project plan execution.